On us, you can depend on us. He's the Super 80s podcast friend.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Super 80s Podcast Friend. We are a TV theme song explorer, and we've got one mission, and that is to analyze every single 1980s TV theme song, all genres, comedies, dramas, cartoons. We love them all. And if you love us, pretty please like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Helps us out and gets us one step closer to our retirement goal to become professional podcasters. By the way, my name is John.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Peter.
And we're happy to have you here. And if you ever want to reach out to us, you can do so on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and good old-fashioned email. We'll get back to you real quick. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
We like to start out with a drink. Ryan, what's in your glass today?
My glass has water slides from Three Sheeps Brewery.
Excellent.
It's delicious.
And I have Highlight IPA. I believe it's Cigar City Brewing out of Florida.
Ybor
Also-
City. Ybor City.
Also
Tampa.
delicious.
Welcome to the podcast Highlight.
Yeah.
And I'm rocking a Revolution Anti-Hero. Not its first time on the podcast.
Wonderful.
Well, we're so happy that everybody's here today for episode 35? Is that right?
Really?
Wow.
Man,
Mid-30s.
unless I messed up the numbering earlier, this is episode 35.
And even if
Quarter century, guys.
Wow. Yeah. 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 Sure.
And 10. After we get our drinks going, we like to catch up a little bit, see if we've got any retractions, observations, ideas, and announcements from previous shows. Our last couple shows were, hold on, I actually have to look. I normally don't have to look. They were
Mr. Belvedere was
Belvedere.
one of them.
Knight
and-
Rider before. So it was Knight Rider most recently.
Okay.
Oh, this is episode 34, by the way, not 35.
Perfect.
Episode 34. 33 was Knight Rider. 32 was Mr. Belvedere. 31 was Amen. 30 was The Muppet Show.
Yeah. Okay.
So 34. I will have to update the numbering
Sure.
later. Otherwise, it'll be like a
close.
mystery lost episode.
Do it or don't.
So anyway, any retractions, ideas, observations, shows you've watched, etc.
So not exactly a retraction, but after Mr. Belvedere, I felt kind of bad. I think I was a little harsh on Mr. Redbone and the song. I'm not taking it back, but
Feeling guilty.
it was just barely out of my I'll be back.
out of your comfort. I'll be back comfort zone. That's fair.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because on our last episode, we mentioned Gary Portnoy.
Yes.
And Gary Portnoy has written the themes for Cheers, Punky Brewster, Mr. Belvedere, and he also sings occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving home from the grocery store, and I thought I'd listen to Mr. Portnoy's album that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And I listened to the Mr. Belvedere theme song from Mr. Portnoy.
Yes.
And man, the over-enunciating kicks in immediately. I'm going to play you guys a few seconds, and then we got to stop, because when I listen to this, if a song had an ass, I would want to rip the ass off of this song's ass and put its ass in its face, because it makes me so angry.
Now, before we listen to it, I want to let you know, because I know that you're not an Instagram person.
Correct.
I intentionally put Gary Portnoy's version of Belvedere as the song on Instagram.
Twisted.
And the moment that the show posted, literally like within 5 minutes of the show being posted, we had someone reply on Instagram that said, "Oh, John's not going to like this." He's not going to like the over-enunciation.
Well, that's really funny because, I was, and to be fair, I do want to let people, like Gary Portnoy is an awesome songwriter.
Very talented.
I think I love like the Cheers theme song, Mr. Bell. I love the songs. I just can't stand his singing.
Yeah, and I think you're too harsh on his singing, but that's fine.
Let's find out right now. All right.
I picture him playing this on piano too.
Streaks on the china never mattered before. Who cares when you drop kicked your jacket?
Also, all the lyrics that were a mystery for Mr. Redbone,
No mystery.
No mystery.
clear as day
right?
with Mr. Portnoy.
A few more seconds.
As you came through the door, no one glared, but sometimes things get turned.
You get the idea.
He's proud of his lyrics, and he wants them to be understood.
He should be proud of his lyrics. He writes great TV theme songs.
You know, the funny thing, what I always say, the criticism, it looks like Bob Dylan, right? Bob Dylan writes a song and then he sings it, and if somebody covers it, the cover sometimes is better than the original.
Right.
And this is a perfect example of that.
So Gary Portnoy is the Bob Dylan of the TV theme writing world.
I think we've just struck gold
Possibly.
there. Yes.
I think we have too.
Possibly.
So, while we're on the subject of Mr. Belvedere, so Pete doesn't quite retract,
Correct.
but felt
a little guilty.
Got it.
It was like a C minus, or maybe just a D plus. It was just barely not passing.
I do have a retraction. Retraction time. The Mr. Belvedere mom was hot. Final answer.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched an episode and I was up and down over the course of the actual episode, but no.
That's your final. So you've landed on.
She's hot.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of, I did watch an episode of Mr. Belvedere, season 2, episode 10. Bob Uecker, George, buys a pinball machine. Guess where they put it in the house in a 1980s TV show?
Living room or kitchen.
Living room, right when you walk in.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yep. It's perfect. Euchre in the show is really funny, and the whole cast is pretty damn good. Eventually, George is forced to move the pinball machine to the
Garage.
You got it. Because it's making too much noise for his wife, who is studying for some sort of exam. We'll call it real estate.
For her hot test.
Guess who...
She passed. That's all we need to know.
Passed. Ding, 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 ding. Guess who gets addicted to the machine?
Mr. Belvedere.
Mr. Belvedere.
Sure. Wow.
Belvedere starts playing it because Wesley says, Dad says if he can't get 100,000, nobody can.
Oh, competitive.
Lynn gets obsessed. He stops doing his house duties, so like the kids are covering for him.
Nice.
Cooking shitty meals,
Doing
sort of
dishes.
doing laundry. It's hilarious. And when he does cook, it's really crappy food. He did sloppy joes with tuna and popcorn balls.
Oof.
George confronts him as he sneaks outside one morning to play. They get rid of the game. Belvedere has to go to an arcade to play it. The entire family confronts him there. He gets to 99,999, and Wesley hugs him and says, "We love you." He loses the ball, but gets the love of the family. Here's the crazy part, guys. That's the only storyline in the episode.
Wow. No side.
Nothing.
No side stories.
Now,
at
I
all.
don't know if that's typical. I only watched one episode,
Okay.
but that was it. One storyline.
But you watched it all the way through, which a lot of times you can't make it.
Correct. At the end, this gets a little deep. At the end, he tells us, because you know how he's writing the book?
Yes.
Actually, no, I think he tells the kids this. He tells us that the reason he goes bonkers is because of the rigid English class structure. And people are always following along with the structure, and that once in a while you have to go off the rails.
And it reminded him of the black tar that he did back in China when he was in the army.
Exactly. So, Mr. Belvedere.
And what would you give that episode? 0 to 10, 10 being the highest.
Solid 8. 8.5 maybe?
okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
You would watch more
I
Belvedere
would watch
for
more.
sure.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It was funny. It was like 80s cheesy, but not like can't stand it. It was fun.
Holds up well enough that you're watching it again.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. The humor was good. Yeah, solid 8.5 at worst, possibly better.
And I'm glad that you got an episode that Euchre was in, because sometimes I recall him being absent.
Okay.
From some episodes. I'm guessing, he had other commitments.
For sure.
So.
A couple other things here, guys. This is a long catch-up here. We just had a lot of stuff. This is from the mailbag. This is from Tom, and we've had a Tom on Facebook. This is a different Tom. This was via email. He refers to himself as Tom from the 920, I think, referring to the area code. And thanks for listening, by the way, Tom. Tom says, quote, or asks, listening to the three of you converse, it's like a younger, hipper, drunker version of listening to Statler, Waldorf, and Fozzie. But I cannot decide who is who. And then he sent this picture in the email.
Very nice.
And he asks, who would you say is the Statler, Waldorf, and Fozzie of the Super 80s podcast friend? P.S. This is how I see you in my mind when I listen. And again, it's the three Muppets, Waldorf, Statler, and Fozzie.
I mean, for that, Tom from the 920, if he's actually able to process that in his head, like picture those three as he's listening, kudos. That's got to make the show way more enjoyable.
Sounds to me like a Facebook poll right here that need for our listeners.
All right, listeners, let Tom from the 920 know, who do you think is who? Waldorf, Statler, and Fozzie Bear.
I take that as a compliment no matter.
Yeah. Did Waldorf and Statler have real distinct personalities?
I think they were just kind of
Like they were both
Yeah.
grumpy and like created punchlines for each other's jokes. And
Yeah.
so
I don't know much about Fozzie. Fozzie's kind of a dumbbell, huh?
Yeah,
his jokes kind of flop sometimes.
That's true. They do.
that might be Fozzie.
I don't know.
I wasn't going to say it.
It's fair. A couple other things. We have some updated beer stats from our anonymous statistician, Tyler. So let's just see what we got here. Updated beer stats.
Beer.
These are as of episode 30, I think.
Beer.
That's all it says. Beer. Why can't I open it? This is good podcasting right now.
It's the problem with spreadsheets.
It is. Here we go.
Podcast about spreadsheets.
All right. As of episode 30, guys, we have had a lot of Three Sheeps water slides. 20% of our beers have been water slides.
Well, there you go. I've just added to that tally.
11% have been anti-hero.
Ooh, another one.
And we've had a total of 79 beers, 9 cocktails, 2 glasses of wine.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And a partridge in a pear tree. 71% of our beer, or actually over 80% of our beers are some type of pale ale.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a low percentage. I would have thought it to be
more.
higher.
I'm trying to think of what would be that 20% that worked.
There's a couple lagers, couple stouts, the quad, and a couple porters.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really remember those, but it's okay.
So thank you, anonymous statistician Tyler, for sending those stats for us.
Spreadsheet man.
Guys, I'm still going here.
Holy
Okay.
moly.
Our longtime listener, Yura,
Yeah.
who lives in Finland, has put together a Super 80s podcast friend bingo. I just texted it to you guys. We're going to post this on our Facebook and our Instagram. And basically, as you are listening, you can try to get bingo by filling in these bingo squares.
Love it.
I won't read all of these, but John misremembers a name. You get to put a little chip on the bingo category. Pete identifies a car make and model. You get a little bingo card. Ryan has a big laugh. All beers are from the same brewery. Phil Collins is mentioned. Mid-show fact-checking. John hyperbole, comparing DuckTales theme to the Beatles, for example.
Technical difficulties.
Yep, with Conky.
So would Portnoy to Dylan? Or no, that was actually
yeah.
Ryan's comparison, but
Yeah.
But we'll count that. We'll throw
count
that
that,
right in
yeah.
there.
That's definitely X gets a square.
So many thanks to Yura for taking the time to put together Super 80s podcast friend bingo.
Love it.
It's awesome. We'll be putting that up there.
Thank you, Euro.
And I think that is it. I did have one idea, and then holy shit, we can get to Conky and actually listen to a song.
Wow.
Here's what I was thinking, guys. What if when a song gets 3 for 3 from us, it goes to like a super grand fong song dong bonus round, and it be like, so if it gets 3 for 3, like Punky Brewster, I think, was 3 for 3.
Okay.
Then we have one more vote round saying, is this like an all-time mega classic?
Okay.
wait, is it going head to head against something else?
Nope, it's just like
Within the same conversation, you're saying,
yep,
not
just
a
like
separate,
a real quick, right? Just a real quick bonus vote. If a song gets 3 thumbs up, we then vote. Does it belong on the like mega super all-time Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, I think it's pretty evident whether they are the top echelon songs.
So
pretty easily stand out, I think.
So, if I mean, we do a yes or no
Yep.
vote. So the top echelon is like if I'm actually going to rate it on A, B, C, D.
So, like, let's take Punky Brewster. I believe it got
Right.
3 thumbs up from all of us.
Right.
Then the question will be, all right, it got 3 thumbs up votes, but is this one of the best TV theme songs ever? And then my vote at that stage, it would be a no, and it takes
Correct.
majority rule, so Punky
Right.
Brewster would not have
It's still
made.
majority. Oh yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there.
All right.
All right.
Nothing. Not. We don't want to overcomplicate it. Just
No,
you know,
let's
add some more
see.
shit.
Not overcomplicated. Jesus.
We could.
We'll discuss more spreadsheets in the future.
Yes.
Have more statistics.
Holy shit! Is that our biggest catch up ever?
Could be.
A
Oh,
lot of mustard.
that's a lot of mustard. Yeah. All right. That'll do. That'll do, pig.
Yeah.
Well, it's that finally. There's a little robot here. He's just bouncing. He's been bouncing back and forth since the fellas came to the studio. He's pacing. Conky, wake up and tell us what we're listening to.
Poor Conky. Poor Conky.
Today's secret word is square pegs.
What?
And
By the way, we don't edit on the show, so if you heard the Conky
Exactly.
stuff, that's part of our charm.
Yeah. But
yes.
what is this? What's the show?
It is called Square Pegs.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Well, I know who that is, but I don't know what the hell Square Pegs is.
I remember it vaguely. I probably saw a couple episodes. My sister Mary watched it,
Okay.
and she's 3 years older than me.
This is, I'm guessing, again, because I've never heard of this show, that it's early 80s and had like 1 or 2 seasons.
You might be right. Let's go around. So you have no memories.
Nothing. Zero.
Nothing.
So here are my memories. I remember watching it with my sister, and I remember it took place in a school.
Okay.
At least one of them's a nerd, maybe both,
Okay.
maybe. And I remember that when Sarah Jessica Parker broke through into something else, and I don't remember what her next breakthrough was. But anyway, I remember that I was like, oh, that was the girl from Square Pegs.
Okay. Sure.
But I have zero recollection of plots, characters, or anything at all. So I was probably playing with Matchbox cars on the carpet when it was on,
Sure.
but it didn't bug me enough to leave the room.
Did your whole family watch TV together?
Sometimes, yeah. My dad worked swing shift when I was a
that's
kid, which means he worked a different shift every week.
Yeah.
So, like, if he was working second or third, not, but when he was on first shift, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Was,
depended upon
was
the
this
shift.
a show that you have a memory of him sticking around for?
No. Whereas, like, Dukes of Hazzard and stuff like that, I
Sure.
totally do.
Okay.
But at Belvedere, obviously, I've mentioned
Yeah.
before, he was a big fan of that. So, I will, I see my dad regularly, my mom and dad, so I'll
Ask
send
them.
this one by them and see if they remember it. But that's it. So the nice thing about me having so much to catch up on, none of us have any memories of Square Pegs. So
So here we are.
Not a whole lot of personal opinions at this point.
Conky just zapped a bunch of info into Engineer Pete's brain. Engineer Pete was out for a few minutes. We dumped a beer on his head. He's back, and he is ready to tell us all about Square Pegs.
All right.
All right, Square Pegs. It seems like a show that I would have loved if I was,
Okay.
paying attention at the time. It's a CBS sitcom. It aired 1 season. You are correct. September of '82 through March of '83.
Yeah.
20 episodes.
Okay.
It follows 2 awkward teenage girls trying to fit in high school. It was created by former National Lampoon and SNL writer Ann Beats. I think I'm pronouncing that last name right.
Wow.
Okay. That name is familiar.
And it was sort of not necessarily autobiographical, but sort of modeled after awkward teenage years, trying to capture that
Essence
That-
of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like Freaks and Geeks type.
yes.
I was just gonna say I'm
or
picturing
My
a Freaks and
So-Called
Geeks.
Life, that kind of thing.
Another one.
Sitcom, you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
call it a sitcom. But I don't think that kind of show was done back then.
Right.
And also, I think a lot of TV watching was done as families.
Sure.
And it didn't do well, ratings wise, because it had very strong appeal for certain demographics, but not
Right.
broad whole family appeal.
And I mean, honestly, 1982, most families in America, I would assume, had one television.
Right. Yeah.
I think we did one color television at least.
sure.
No, shit, we might have all been black and white in 82 yet.
I remember when we got our second TV, the Budgetel was selling a bunch of TV. They must have gotten new TVs.
Nice.
And my dad is a thrifty man, and he went down to the Budgetel and bought, and it had they must have taken a heat thing to the side because it said Budgetel in.
Oh, nice.
It was branded
Impressed,
like cattle.
impressed on it. Yeah,
Wow.
right.
So that was our basement TV
Awesome.
for years. When we were watching 90210 in the 90s, it was probably on that Budgetel TV.
Wow.
Wowza.
So the show follows 8 freshmen at Wee High School. And the show was acclaimed for trying to give it a realistic look at teenage life. So it followed Patty Green, which was Sarah Jessica Parker. She was a brainy character, and her friend was Lauren, who was much more the social climber, trying to be popular.
Okay.
And then the other 8, they kind of were all sort of different stereotypes. There was aspiring comedian Tracy Nelson was on the show. She's the daughter of Ricky Nelson and sister of the band Nelson.
Pretty Polynesian baby.
There's a character Muffy Tepperman. She was involved in all the clubs, and her name was Muffy. She was played by
Muffy?
Muffy. Yeah, that's it.
Muffy. Muffy.
Yep.
Different times.
Jamie Gertz. She was besides for Sarah
Get
Jessica
your bingo
Parker,
square.
I think she had the most success afterwards. I remember her as
who
one of
was
Seinfeld's girlfriends, Jamie Gertz. She played one of Seinfeld's girlfriends. She's also husband to Tony Wrestler. So the two of them are the co-owners of the Atlanta Hawks basketball team.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Dominic Wilkins.
Yeah.
Spud Webb.
Yeah.
Bill Murray played a substitute teacher in one episode.
Nice.
Love it.
There's your SNL connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Keats.
Oh, yeah.
And it was rumored that rampant drug and alcohol use amongst the cast on the set is what killed the show. But the creator, Beats, said it was really just low ratings, but also said there was probably some drug and alcohol use on the set.
It does sound a little bit like Freaks and Geeks, like a precursor
Yes.
to Freaks and Geeks.
So there's a character, Johnny Slash, who was like a new wave musician, and his friend Marshall Blackman, the comedian guy. They ran the school radio station. So their high school had a radio station, just like ours
ours.
did.
Yeah.
Yep. And there was a lot of music tied in because the creator wanted to kind of capture how much that was a part of her life at that age.
Cool.
So she brought that in. So there was an episode called Muffy's Bat Mitzvah. Devo appeared as themselves.
Hell yeah, they
played at
did.
Muffy's Bat Mitzvah. The character Johnny Slash also had a band called Open 24 Hours.
Solid
John
name.
Densmore played himself as the drummer.
Wow, from the Doors.
Yes.
Wowza.
Billy Idol and Berlin both recorded alternate versions of songs to be used on the show. One, to get exposure because they were
Yeah, up
new,
and coming.
and then also to avoid paying masters fees to the recording studios. And the studios were fine just to get,
This is 82, 83, right, Pete?
yes.
Okay.
So this is like, MTV is 82, right? So this is like show is coming on like almost kind of before MTV is a
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah, and MTV's very fringe at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like most people don't even have cable era,
Hey.
right? So it's an interesting
Yes.
time period when, especially if you're music centric, right?
And so they had two theme songs. They had two songs, and they kind of one alternated between the intro and then the other would be the outro, and then they would flip flop depending on the episode.
Really?
Yep.
That's got to be a first.
One song is
of
For a 20 song or 20 episodes of
right.
run.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we had any show that.
just switch those back and
Yeah.
forth.
Just
Not yet.
willy-nilly.
One song is called Square Pegs. It was actually written by Beats, and it was performed by the Waitresses,
Oh, God.
Interesting.
who sing "I Know What Boys Like" and also
Song
sing
sucks.
Christmas rapping.
Also sucks.
I like Christmas wrapping.
Christmas wrapping is
in a dose. Every Christmas, I get some Christmas wrapping, and then I'm done with it.
Yeah.
The Waitresses performed both of those songs in separate episodes. I Know What Boys Like and Christmas Wrapping.
Okay.
And then, as well as doing the Square Peg song. The other song in that 2-song rotation was a untitled instrumental by Tom Scott. Now, I did not know that name, but apparently Tom Scott played in the Blues Brothers, wrote a ton of music for other TV shows and movies, and he's played as a sideman for artists such as Joan Baez, Neil Diamond, Donovan, George Harrison, Barry Manilow, Eddie Money, Dolly Parton, Rod Stewart, Barbra Streisand, Tina Turner, etc., etc.
Heavy hitter.
Yeah,
That guy's
absolutely.
got a resume. And that's not even like including people that he just recorded on their albums.
Jeez.
So those are the 2 songs.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
That's some awesome background information, Engineer Pete and Conky. Thanks, guys. Square Pegs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm interested. So, are we going to assume that we're hearing the Waitresses version first?
Yes. And
And then-
also there was a vocal intro that went with it.
Okay. And we're getting all of it?
Yes.
Cool.
All right.
I think we took it volume way down when Conky got a little crazy. We might want to bring it up a little bit.
Can you hear that and give me thumbs up or down? Or
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
able to see.
Okay.
So let's we're editing on the fly here, team, because we want to make sure our volumes aren't blowing you away. Man, that Conky, I can see that file right now. Hey, if you were at the Planet Fitness when Conky started talking, apologies if you got kicked out. Let's.
If you fell off your treadmill.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Square Pegs.
Listen, I've got this whole high school thing psyched out. It all breaks down into cliques. Cliques? Yeah, you know, cliques. Little in-groups of different kids.
Oh, there we go. All right, so we got a little bit of a monologue here.
Yeah.
I've got this whole high school thing psyched out.
I don't know.
That was
think
probably
that's
before
probably-
I was using slang, so not familiar.
Clicks. It all comes down to clicks.
It all comes
All
down
right,
to clicks,
all right.
yeah. I
So
think that's Sarah Jessica Parker talking, isn't it?
I believe so.
A teenage.
All right, so we start with kind of just a little. She's setting the stage.
SJP,
High school's
okay.
weird, and there's a bunch of clicks. All right.
All we have to do is click with the right click, and we can finally have a social life that's worthy of us.
Yeah. This makes no sense, but it does to me. The echo of the voice sounds and reminds me of the He-Man intro, where
Love it. I love where you're going with this.
you know,
I'm going to try a reference on you guys. Is she trying to pull a Ronnie Miller scam?
what?
Anybody know that reference?
No.
I know a bunch of our listeners right now are yelling at you guys for not knowing that that's a reference to Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, yes.
So the 80s
Yes,
movie Can't Buy Me
Ronnie,
Love,
yeah.
Patrick Dempsey,
Yep.
where he basically pays his way to become popular.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's the same idea, right? Like if we can get into this clique,
We've got it made.
we got it made.
Correct.
All right.
No way. Not even with cleavage. I told you, this year we're gonna be popular.
Could you say that cleavage? Like in 1982, apparently.
She just did.
She just did, man.
You know, the 80s were a weird period of like you couldn't get away with much, but in some ways you could get away with a bunch of other shit. So
right.
having watched episodes at this point now of like Facts of Life and stuff like that, yeah, I'm not totally shocked. But that's weird for the intro.
Yeah, correct.
A high school show talking about
Cleavage.
showing cleavage. A little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it kills us.
Yeah. There's our waitresses.
There's the Waitresses.
It does have just the first 2 seconds sounds a lot like Christmas wrapping.
Yeah, these guys are freaking one-trick ponies.
No, I believe 3-trick now. Really.
Always never quite right.
I'm going to take 4 hours of Portnoy over 4 seconds of the Waitresses.
Well, buckle up because you got more than that.
What
coming.
the? Do you have lyrics up?
I think we've heard square peg so far.
Square pegs, square pegs, square pegs.
Is that as far as we got so far?
Always never quite right. That's where I think we
Indeed.
Hey,
I'd like it if they like us, but I don't think they like us.
I'd like it if they like us, but I don't think they like us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Don't want to wear my glasses. I have to wear my glasses.
I want to wear my glasses, but I can't wear my glasses?
Don't want to wear my glasses,
Oh.
but I have to wear my glasses.
Okay, the struggles of fitting in.
I wish that people could see John's exacerbated expressions right now.
I think he's ready to quit podcasting.
He is nearly beside himself having to listen to this.
This is so bad.
Heathcliff bad?
I'll take Heathcliff over this.
Well, you're
No,
wrong.
that is saying something. All right, let's go.
You know, like if you're a little brother or a little sister, I'm a little brother, and you want to annoy your older sibling, this is what this song. It's like, make the most annoying dumb song you can because you really want to piss off your sister.
Square peg, square
weird.
peg,
Yeah,
square peg.
Talk about things you want to do but can't do.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other lyrical things that you need to fill us in on?
I think it's pretty much right out there for everyone to hear. So
Yeah.
I don't,
Not Portnoy enunciation, but not
right,
Dylan.
not Red Bull.
One size does not fit all.
What was that?
One size does not fit all.
That's right, it doesn't. That's it.
Thank God.
Okay.
There's a lot more lyrics to this song. If you guys were
Because I think they
interested.
did release it as a regular.
Yeah, there's a lot
As a
more lyrics.
single.
Yeah.
Now,
Anything worthy of note?
Um.
I wonder if the real song actually has like singing parts.
No, I don't think so. Square peg, square peg, square pegs. So tell me, where's the party, and how come we weren't invited? Square peg, square pegs.
I could just hear her voice like doing it in kind of an annoying like
Why
whiny.
are we wearing this year what we were wearing last year? Square peg, square pegs. Yeah, I'd be a cutter without gum in my braces. No, yeah, I'd be cuter without gums in my braces.
That makes way more sense.
we go.
Yikes, I was like, where are we going here?
Well, I was thinking of that. Oh God, I'm not even gonna try and remember the name of that movie about the cutters. Involved bike racing. It was in
Any
long time
listeners?
ago.
Let us know.
Yeah. Square peg, square pegs. I hope the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I mean, I'm not going to go. I haven't even gotten halfway through the lyrics.
I think we are good. That was.
It's a little bit like Hey Jude. With the na-na-na-nas. With the how many square pegs
It
can we
is
get here?
nothing like Hey Jude.
Out of all the shit you've let fly, that's where you're drawing the
I'm
line.
not saying it's good. I'm saying in terms of the overusage of
Now that I'm hearing the lyrics, and the creator and Beats wrote the song, and in interviews she said that they were like on a deadline, and she basically the waitresses were staying in a hotel in LA, and she showed up with a bottle of tequila and a bottle of orange juice and a bag of weed. And they stayed up all night writing the song, and then had to like record it the next day, like to like make this deadline. And that makes more sense.
it sounds a bit like that's what happened.
Yeah, it sure does. Now,
Yeah.
I have a question, logistical question. Are we going to cleanse the palate and listen to Tom Scott, or are we going to watch this and then do the outro?
I think just cleanse the palate, because none of us remember the show anyways, so I don't know what.
Sure.
So we're going to listen to the second one.
Show. Yeah.
And then we'll watch the intro.
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to listen to song 2,
Yes.
Okay.
and then we are going to watch the intro with the shitty Waitresses song.
Sure. Sounds like fun.
Okay. All right. Great. So this is the one that was rotated. Now we're talking.
I like the bass, though. The bass is thumpy.
It sounds like a song that might be on my Sega Master System.
Well put.
when I'm playing some sort of driving game. Turbo, outrun, pole
Turbo.
position.
Yeah, right.
Excite bike.
A little bit.
Right?
All
All right. The guy's pedigree is unquestionable, but this
is-
might not be his best work.
Yeah, I don't know. Was he in the same hotel?
Good question.
Seems like he might have phoned this one in a little bit.
He had a deadline.
Would you say that's a drum machine?
Yeah. That's it?
That's it.
And
It's better than the Waitresses one.
but I'm confused. You're saying that that's what they
I'm guessing there must have been a longer version.
but they use that for the intro sometimes?
Yeah.
That can't be. Really?
I mean,
Listener. Listener.
We need to get Sarah Jessica Parker on this show.
We need a little detective work. We need some matlocking done. Let us know what was going on with this. 20 episodes of Square Pegs. How many had the Waitresses at the beginning? How many had Tom Holland or whatever his name is?
Tom Scott.
Tom
Scott.
Tom Holland.
That's Spider-Man, Superman. One
But
of
yeah,
them.
I would agree that based on what that guy's done, he could have done better.
I think that's a fair thing. I think he might even agree with us.
I feel like it's the thing that he literally just like came up with on the fly. He like sat down and he was like, I'm giving this thing 2 minutes of my time.
Dun, dun.
You're going to pay me how much? Okay,
Yeah,
2 minutes.
exactly.
It sounds like about an hour's worth of work. That would,
Right.
It couldn't be much more than that. From inception and like everything, writing, recording, laying down the
particularly a guy
tracks.
of his talent
Yeah.
and pedigree, right? Like
That's an hour,
yeah, right.
and maybe he bills him for 2.
Yeah. And yeah, and he did like 2 other things while he was making that as well.
He probably
a sandwich?
He made
probably
lunch,
ate a sandwich
Yeah,
and
exactly.
made love to a woman.
took dog for a walk. Like yeah.
It's a regular day in Tom
Tom
Holland's
Scott world,
house.
yeah.
Tom Scott. Well, let's watch this. Let's watch
Louise.
this shit. This is great. So, Square Pegs. Here we go. It says here on the screen, September 27th of 82 to March 7th, 1983. A short run. By the time... Yeah, that's a really short run. Anyway, if you can go full screen on that far right square peg. See what I did there? All right, let's see what we can see.
Here we go. Season
Listen,
1.
I've got this whole high school thing psyched.
Well, it's wonderfully 80s.
Very true.
It's got that, John Hughes, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles kind of vibe. I don't know when the first... Do you guys know when the first Hughes movie came out? Like Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink?
Those are 84 probably.
I think it was a little bit later.
So this
than
might have
that.
preceded
This
it.
might, I think
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
before.
But New Wave is certainly coming
Yeah,
around, right? The
Flock of
Go-Go's,
Seagulls
Flock
type,
of
yeah,
Seagulls,
right.
that all, and like the pink and
Devo, yeah.
the jagged way of coming onto the screen. All
Yeah.
right.
So it starts with the school panned out and then jaggedly panning in, doom, 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 doom,
Yep.
right to the door.
And kind of washed out colors.
out. It all breaks down into clicks. Click.
So they're showing stills of the inside of the school before
Right.
students are in there. And again, kind of like bold colors. Like there's one that just has a green tint, one that has a blue tint.
The washed out colors make it look like an insane asylum.
I was about to say, yeah, it looks like haunted.
Correct. Haunted as well put.
Yeah.
Yeah, clicks. Little in-groups of different kids.
Yeah,
All we
I
have
mean-
to do is click.
Oh, yeah. This looks like a scary place.
Yeah, I mean, very like a state institution.
Yes.
Like the old Sank, like very much One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
There's
kind of
those.
place.
There's those like haunted shows where they take
Yeah.
people to places. They're taking them to Square Pegs High
Totally.
with maybe the singer, the Waitresses, and a bottle of tequila.
With the right click, and we can finally have a social
Students,
life that's
stay
worthy of
out.
us. No.
You guys remember teachers' lounges?
Like the
I remember in
concept of
grade
teachers'
school,
lunch.
the whole hallway smelled like cigarettes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yep.
stale coffee.
Still coffee and cigs. I remember my fourth grade teacher had always had his cigs in his front pocket.
Oh yeah.
Merit. I don't know if you remember the brand Merit
Merits.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always
Wow.
had those. But there it is.
Yeah,
Man,
and so the still we got now is a bathroom. I mean, it looks like
it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that's the not maybe quite the vibe they were going for, but
Way, not even with cleavage. I told you.
great
This year
old
we're gonna be
lockers.
The half locker.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even if it kills us.
cafeteria, science.
Okay, so we sort of see people kind of start filtering into the
Yeah.
pictures in a blurry way, and
Yeah.
we always talk. How
Yeah.
does the theme come on? What do we got, Ryan?
So we've got it's square pegs is the back of a person's like shirt or jacket. It's almost like a bowling jacket.
Like a satin jacket.
Yeah,
Embroidered.
yeah, embroidered.
My
cursive
dad's
writing.
Futsy's bar jacket.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. It's outstanding. I love it.
So square pegs. Hey, and on the Super 80s Podcast Friend, we do have our embroidered jackets on our website, and it says Super 80s Podcast Friend on the back,
you go.
embroidered.
There you go.
Orange stitching on purple satin.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful look.
Starring. Oh, I like that.
So we get the chalkboard.
Yeah,
For
a way to
introducing.
give us our cast and starring and Sarah Jessica Parker, Patty Green with an E. Okay,
We haven't seen any people yet, except
correct.
for the
Not-
blurry ones.
Not one photo or anything of
Right.
any star.
Quite right.
I get the feeling we're not going to.
I'd like it
a little bit of drawing on the chalkboard. There's like
Yeah.
a wave, maybe
Yeah.
a little surfing happening.
Yeah, it went from the black chalkboard to the green chalkboard.
if they like us.
There's
but I
some
don't think
people.
they like
There you
us.
go. There's Muffy.
Don't wanna wear my glasses. I can't-
Just her name, by the way, listeners. We're not seeing any people.
Yeah, right. They're just names, right? Just names written on the chalkboard. Claudette Wells as LaDonna Fredericks.
All right, go
wear
Claudette.
my glasses.
Very strange intro.
Right, there's like stop motion photo movement happening.
Correct,
Of
yeah.
people kind of blurrily. If
And now
that's a
produced
word.
by
and Beats.
Yeah, Beats written on the school on the wall
In a
the-
Sharpie.
on the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
One size does not fit.
Yeah. I mean, just shots from the school. Now we've got like a personnel file, right? Like written by Janice Hirsch.
Yeah. I'm really glad I had so much to catch up on at the beginning of the show today.
Yeah, that is one of the worst intros I've seen in a long time.
Wow. Really bad.
Okay, so I think you were asking how they did the shorter instrumental with the Waitress. I think both versions had the vocal intro and then the
that
musical
makes
part
sense.
afterwards.
Does the outro have any images of the actresses or actors?
That might have depended on the episode. I'm not sure if it
It
always
had to
had the
be.
same.
What's the damn difference? The intro didn't show anything. There's no difference. Just shows us like a chalkboard.
Yeah. Wow.
It's bad.
That is bad.
Yeah, I mean, painfully dull.
Yeah, dull. Because bad is, I'm okay with bad. Heathcliff, the cartoon, was dumb.
Right,
But,
and
but it was entertaining.
correct, goofy, entertaining. This is just plain dull.
Dull and boring.
Yeah, like you can see why it lasted 4 months.
If you're
6
sitting on the floor playing with your Matchbox cars and this is what you're dealing with,
right,
you're turning the
square
channel.
peg, square peg, square
Pegs.
pegs.
I don't know about that. All right. Well, hey, we made it through square pegs. That's amazing. What a treat.
It's a feat.
In this episode, we listened to Gary Portnoy and the Waitresses. Man,
John is in heaven.
this is a big win. I need to leave the room and play some Motorhead really loudly for a moment. But before we can do that, it's time to vote. You guys all know the drill. 2 votes in the positive puts it on the wall of fame. 2 votes in the negative puts it on the wall of shame. Just majority rules here.
Are we just grouping both songs together?
Yes.
Do you think anonymous statistician will be okay with that?
Take the audience's time to single.
Yeah,
out.
because I'm sure so many shows have outro songs.
Yeah.
We'll just. I'm not even going to include.
I feel like the basically the result is not going to matter on anything.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need a.
Yeah, we'll just pretend we'll ignore the Tom Holland and just do the waitresses.
There's no difference.
Oh, there's a difference.
Barely.
All right. Who wants to start?
I will.
All right.
I was intrigued because of all the musical guests that were on the show, and like they had a contemporary artist write the theme song. I had high hopes, and I was disappointed. And then as far as the outro, there was just nothing really to it. So, I think we muted Conky because he was blasting out so loud before. Come on, Conky.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Yeah. Ryan.
Yeah. Well, I think the song, the intro song, The Waitresses, I don't dislike as much as you dislike it. But I think the visual, it tells it all. It is incredibly dull. And I think the Waitresses song is incredibly dull. And I think the outro is incredibly dull. I mean, it's an easy Michelle Tanner for me.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Yeah, I played my hand early. That's bullshit.
Square pegs.
I'm offended that I had to listen to it twice, and I feel like somebody should send us a couple bucks for doing this.
So,
let's get
Michelle in here.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Thank you, Michelle Tanner.
So, taking us full circle for this episode, you're saying that you would rather listen to Gary Portnoy sing Mr. Belvedere's theme song any day of the week over the Waitresses singing Square Pegs?
Any day of the week. I can't stand the Waitresses. Cannot stand that. I know what Boys Like song. That just everybody's got their own jam, and that's cool. But for me, that is about as bad as music gets.
Yeah, it's understood. It's understood.
Yeah, there's something about like childlike annoying melodies that for whatever reason just don't really get me pumped.
What's really funny is that all three of those songs that the Waitresses that you mentioned are strikingly similar.
Oh yeah,
like that's just their thing.
You said I don't one trick pony. You might have been on the nose with that one.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, listeners, let us know how you feel about the theme song from Square Pegs. And if you've seen an episode, talk to us. I will no doubt dive in at some point and watch an episode. I'll probably skip the intro.
Muffy's Bat Mitzvah might be worth checking out.
That might actually not be a bad place to go.
My understanding is they were really trying to get the Clash.
Ooh.
Oh, my.
But I think Joe Strummer was like, no, not doing
it's a big fish.
TV show.
Probably a good
so
call.
they had to start chasing Devo at that point.
That's a win though. Devo's
big.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
There was still some resistance within Devo too.
Understandable.
But by the time Devo tried to back out, they had already built a giant Spud stage. I don't know. I don't exactly know Devo's potato or Spud connection, but I know that's like mentioned in a lot of their lyrics. And they're like, we're going to sue you. Basically, we did this stuff because you said you were going to be on the show. Oof. And so they did it.
Interesting. Quite the story.
Wow. Well, freedom of choice. Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, that was freaking weird. We're going to, I've looked at the spreadsheet recently. I mean, there's a bunch of weird stuff we're going to be diving into, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And this was weird. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by the show.
Yeah.
Like, curious if it is something I would enjoy. We'll see if I watch an episode or not.
Ooh.
I like it.
Hey, me too.
I feel like this one's got to be harder to find. I mean, they're all, out there now with the internet. So
right.
Yeah.
Like, Square Pegs is
something
pretty
that
random.
It's a deep cut.
Yeah. So
let's see what we can do for at least one of the three of us to watch an episode and report back. But until then, this has been episode 34, not episode 35 of the Super 80s Podcast Friend. And thank you so much for joining us for the weird stuff we do. Until next week, I'm John.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Peter.
And you are listening to the Super 80s Podcast Friend, where the towels are hers and his.
Square peg.